Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be about something a little bit different, something that I usually don't run across. It's really rare when I do, and it's not as common. It's not as commonly talked about amongst self-help people and coaches and counselors. We all know the steps to take usually to heal from our past, forgive someone, get over something that we've been having a hard time getting over. Forgive and forget, find healing. It's all very common, and we pretty much know the process we need to do, and it's available. Easy Google search. But nobody ever talks about what to do when you're dealing with something that just keeps happening and it's not stopping. Something that's not going away. Person that you have to keep forgiving every single day. Trying to get over something that just keeps slapping you across the face, whether it be your past or a person, typically a past. How do you get through that? How do you forgive? How do you move on when you actually are not able to move on? Nobody talks about that. It might be out there, but it's not easy to find. So for me, it took me years to even figure out the steps I need to take to help get through something that I'm still in the middle of going through with no end in sight. In this video, I'm going to share those things that I've self-taught myself when dealing with a painful past or someone that you have to continually forgive and get through. The very first thing is admitting and telling yourself you cannot control anyone else or anything else except yourself. It's amazing how hard that is to accept, to even say out loud. You have no control over what another person says or does. You only have control over what your thoughts are and what you do. And it is so hard. But it is the number one thing that I really had to master. Many of us, when someone does us wrong, screws us over, insults us, we can't just sit back and take it. We have to fight back. We get angry. We react. We don't just stop and let it go or ignore it. Many do, but many don't. We have to have a reaction, or it bothers us. We lose sleep over it. Or we play back the scenario and think of things we should have said, but that we didn't. And it bothers us. That is you not admitting and realizing that you can't control the other person. So that is the number one thing you have to accept, is you have no control over anyone else but yourself. The second thing is get control over your mind, your thoughts, because so often, the things that we think about and entertain in our mind never come to pass, or they're never as bad as reality. Our brains can fathom up some of the craziest things, all for naught, and make us worry and stress and get angry and worked up for nothing. Some of the things that we worry about never come to pass. So getting control over our brain and our thoughts is so important. Definitely a number 2. Your brain could be your worst enemy, your worst critic. It's always that way. So the thoughts that go through your mind need to be they need to have attention, your full attention. You need to process each thought before you truly say it and think it. Catch it right in the beginning of its formation and stop it in the bud. Don't let it form. Getting control over your thoughts, if that could be mastered, it will save pretty much every other thing when it comes to stress, worry, forgiveness, etc. It is so important to get a hold of our thoughts and honestly think close to reality. If you're just thinking the worst case scenario and it hasn't happened yet, don't entertain it. It's not happened yet. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry. It's like you're asking the universe to make it happen. When you think of a plausible future situation that's negative, you are literally conjuring up that scenario into reality in the future. So don't do that. Our thoughts are powerful, so powerful. There's so many coaches that teach about manifestation, and there's so much truth to that. And as a Christian, our thoughts really truly affect and reflect who we are and reflect our actions. It's all in the mind. So getting control over that is such a priority when it comes to finding healing for something that you continually deal with. It helps if you get control over your thoughts. It helps you get through situations that you are going through that keep slapping you across the face. Having your thoughts controlled gets you through it, even if you're right in the middle of it. Third, I should have said this first, but here we go. Pray. Pray without ceasing. Don't stop praying. Pray when you're driving. Pray when you're cooking. Pray when you're working, typing up something, proofreading something. Just pray. Just talk. Talk to God like He's your friend, your best friend, your dad. Talk about the situation, but with the positive mindset, asking for Him to rescue you, to find a result, to find healing. Ask Him for mercy, ask Him for deliverance. Just keep asking Him. He wants to be pursued. The Bible says God's a jealous God. He loves attention, and He really does love when we talk to Him. Now, those who are not Christians, the same applies to many different types of faiths, is meditating, staying in a positive mindset, talking to the universe, conjuring up what you want to happen. Those are other ways to focus on the change that you want to see in the situation that you're going through. Fourth is get a morning routine going, a good one. Kind of readjust it if you don't already have a morning routine that's focused on waking up and immediately thanking God for your life, going through the things that you have. That's good. That's a blessing. We all have something. And starting a morning routine just full of positivity and self-love. One of the biggest things that's a challenge when we're going through something that just keeps hitting us is we don't give ourselves enough love and affection and attention. And that needs to be the first thing you do, first thing in your day. Whether it be praying, reading, yoga, working out, have an hour organized in a schedule just for yourself, thinking only positivity. Promise yourself that you will not stress or worry about anything for at least that hour. If you have a hard time, at least commit to 1 hour of only positive thoughts and selfishness. Be selfish during that first hour. Bathe in a nice, hot, steamy shower. Spoil yourself with oils and lotion, essential oil, perfume. Fancy yourself up. Really have a great moment of putting on your makeup where you're just truly focusing on you. Dedicate an hour or 30 minutes to your morning to be completely self-loving yourself. Let that be the focus. It really helps. I've noticed that for myself. All of these things combined in this list of things that I'm sharing is what helps me get through situations where you're being bombarded with something back to back every day, slapped across the face. Self-love is a very important part. Fifth And the last, get a mentor, get a friend, someone you can trust, someone you can pour out all your thoughts, your pain, your feelings, and I mean raw feelings. Have a person there because you need counsel. More than anything else, you need counsel during this time. And that is one thing I did not have for several years. And once I acquired it, once I tore down my own walls that I built up because I didn't want anyone in, it's my pain, my battle, my issue. Only I could understand what it feels like. No, that is the biggest lie you tell yourself. There are so many other people out in the world suffering just like you, if not with more. Stop putting yourself in that bubble and get someone that you can lean on. Emotionally, physically, you need that support more than anything else. Of course, the other things that I mentioned first are equally as important. But finding someone that you can be raw with will definitely encircle everything I've just said. In a sense, it will activate it because you're just leaning on yourself, your mind, your own ideas, your own thoughts. You need to be able to lean on another, a different person with different ideas, different mindsets, different perspectives. That, in a way, can also help you get through this scenario, get through this battle that you're still in. They can play a huge part in helping you. You never know. But if not that, they can at least help you emotionally and mentally, being there, letting you vent to them. Many of us don't have that, though. Many of us spend years trying to find someone like that. I get it. But if you can't find a friend or someone you've known, seek a therapist, a counselor that you can talk to. That is your best other option when it comes to finding someone else to lean on. Let it be a therapist or a counselor. There's so many apps and opportunities out there to reach out to a therapist and take it. Don't hesitate to take it. You need to be able to release that. It helps. For some reason, it helps. But it's better if it's someone that you're close to. A mother, a sister, a brother, a friend that you've known since childhood, someone you've known for years. Of course, that would be the best option. But you need to be able to trust them. And sometimes a stranger, a therapist, it's easier to just be yourself with because they're a stranger. They're unbiased, So I get that as well. But building a wall is one of the first things we tend to do when we're in the middle of something that just won't go away. We get that wall up, we get angry, we get bitter, and that will destroy us and make it harder. And we really won't ever make it out. In my situation, I have someone that just won't go away. I have someone that keeps living in the past as if it was yesterday and keeps affecting my life as much as he can. And for years, that would get to me. But eventually, I realized that it was so much energy I was allowing this person to take, like a vampire would take. And I made sure, once I figured it out, to stop it. He has no control over my life, and I keep winning. Regardless of the pain and the stress of having to deal with certain things on a routine basis, still, and I won't go into detail, but even having to deal with stuff, I deal with it much stronger, giving it less energy than I did before. Because God is on my side, and God keeps protecting me and showing me that I'm the victor here in this battle. And eventually, it will stop. And I need to stay strong, stay steadfast, and get through this dark time. And I will eventually come out of it a much stronger person. But in the meantime, I really focused on these 5 things to really get me through. And it's getting me through now. And I have to still focus on those 5 things. And it makes a difference. Many years ago, I didn't have all these things in play. And it sucked the energy out of me and affected my health. It affected a lot of things. Do these 5 things, and you will notice a difference. It's not easy going through something that keeps reminding you, that keeps the pain at the forefront. A lot of people don't get the option of just forgiving and forgetting and never having to deal with something. That's great. I wish I had that situation. But unfortunately, I'm in one that keeps showing its face quite often, and there's nothing I can do to stop it, not even legally. So being in that situation makes things harder. So applying these 5 principles in your life, it will help make a massive difference. I wish you all the best. Prayers and blessings, and take care.